When I first began teaching classes in virtual worlds 6 years ago, the only option was Second Life. Since that time, other virtual worlds have been established, most of them based on the open source version of the Second Life software. There's a vigorous educational community in virtual worlds, but as we expand, we sometimes have problems finding each other. Things are changing rapidly. What is clear, however, is that virtual worlds have a great deal to offer our students. First of all, there's a sense of being there, and that's particularly useful for distance classes. Then, there's the ability to make things together, to collaborate on group projects that integrate 3D objects, web content, and uploaded content like student images and PowerPoint presentations. Learning in virtual worlds can be exploratory. There literally is a whole world out there for students to investigate. And it's an immersive world, a metaphor that interrogates actual situations and social attitudes. There are many communities of interest here. The arts community is one example. Students can attend live concerts and poetry readings, visit art galleries, and even see live theater. Virtual worlds are also a rich resource for communities of practice, providing meeting places for participants from all over the world. This picture I took in Second Life is an example of how important social presence can be in a virtual world. My avatar is attending a classical music performance on Music Isle. She's sitting behind someone who really interests her, and she's turning her camera view, which is usually from behind, so she can focus in on that person. This makes her head turned towards the elderly lady, signaling her interest to everyone else in the vicinity. My avatar is wondering why someone would dress like an 80-year-old lady when they could appear as anything they chose. She's wondering if the avatar's operator is really that old and if she's even female. She's just interested in all the other people she meets in these virtual spaces. Behind my avatar, however, there's another figure, a young man who's probably wondering why someone would come to a classical music performance wearing roller skates. In the normal camera position, my avatar probably wouldn't notice him, but she probably would notice people on the left and the right who are more appropriately dressed for this early evening venue. They seem to be unaware of her. Social presence helps anchor us in the virtual space, promoting a deeper learning experience. This demonstration by Lita Hendricks of the Ohio State Library System is one of the many examples of the use of the avatar to enrich presentations. As the avatar paints, the instructor can respond to student questions. This is a simple exercise for teaching about the social construction of gender. The seating arrangement is scripted to allow student avatars to sit in different positions. The assignment is to determine whether they are sitting as females or as males. Students must then decide what is being communicated by their avatars. Students soon learn the potential of the avatar for communication. This presentation on Muslim dress uses a PowerPoint and a YouTube video. The student helped his visitors think about the topic with a gift of clothing. The mainstay of our teaching in virtual worlds is the same as in our actual classrooms. The most important activity is discussion, and we use simple tools like this PowerPoint to keep us on track. Much of Virtual Worlds teaching is in a very familiar format. Here, a breakout group discusses a project. Students can use the Virtual Worlds classroom to meet at any time. This is an example of an informal exercise for assessing group response to a question. Responses can also be made in voice chat or text chat. With a little practice, most teachers can learn to create content that can make our classes more meaningful. This is a photo I took quite a while ago, but I love it because it demonstrates some very basic educational affordances of virtual worlds. It's an art installation created for a winter carnival. Avatars could wander through this work as they wished, but they were drawn to explore it in a particular way through the use of light, sound, and 3D cues. The bird cage on the left contained a flickering candle, and on the floor of the cage was a scrap of paper with verses of poetry. Further up the path, other cages drew attention through the light of their candles, leading the visitor to the top of the hill. As more of the poem presented itself in this manner, it was reinforced by the sound of wind and by gusts of drifting snow. The trail of bird cages ended at the top of the hill, where a valley opened up with a small pond where people were skating. My avatar went down to look and discovered a round hole in the ice. She wondered why it was there and what would happen if she jumped in. Beneath the ice, it was summer. In this example, the reward for being curious is immediate. The method can have a profound impact on learning. We can use these techniques in the classroom. This is a project I'm working on, intended as a writing exercise. Students arrive at the Panopticon with an understanding of Jeremy Bentham's ideas on the circular prison in which prisoners are always aware they may be observed. Students are asked for their emotional reactions to the space and are given time to explore. As they explore the Panopticon, they see the art posted on the prisoners' walls. Images of women taken from advertising over the past century provide the material for the exercise question, how is our society like the Panopticon? Virtual learning displays don't have to be huge buildings. I made this clothesline for my very first virtual class. The clothes blow in the wind, and when clicked, each article of laundry gives a fact about women and work. It's a simple display, but creating it made me think deeply about what I wanted to communicate. It was a valuable learning experience for me, and I encourage my students to create content. This student presentation is basically a set of PowerPoint slides dramatized with free 3D elements that can be found in the virtual world. This student added smoke, bubbling acid, and toxic sludge to attract visitors to her presentation at the public viewing at the end of term. Those who aren't interested in creating content for their classes can still find a variety of sites in virtual worlds for student exploration. An example is Virtual Montmartre, founded in Second Life by Dr. Brian Carter of the University of Central Missouri. Virtual Montmartre has attracted a vibrant artists community. Students not only have the opportunity to see the 3D creation, they can talk to the artists themselves. Students can also learn from each other in virtual worlds. In this slide, Ohio State students were invited to view presentations by students at Texas Woman's University. International conversations can also be developed in virtual worlds, although time zones do present barriers to some synchronous efforts. In this image, students from Ohio State are visiting Dubai Women's College in Second Life. This presentation has really only scratched the surface of the possibilities of virtual worlds teaching.